Before your hand reaches for your phone this morning, give God the first word. Before the messages, the headlines, the bills, the notifications, the opinions, and the demands of other people enter your mind, say these 3 words with me. God, lead me. God, lead me. Those 3 words are not magic. They are not a formula that controls the day. They are a simple act of spiritual order. They place your attention where it belongs before the world begins competing for it. And if your mornings have felt rushed, anxious, distracted, or emotionally heavy, this small change can become a powerful way to protect your peace. Loving Father, before I touch my phone, before I answer anyone, before I carry yesterday into today, I turn my attention toward you. God, lead me. Lead my thoughts. Lead my words. Lead my reactions. Lead my decisions. Let this morning begin with your presence rather than with pressure. There is a reason the first minutes of the day matter so much. What enters your mind first often sets the emotional direction of what follows. If the first thing you receive is bad news, an urgent request, a financial reminder, or a message that unsettles you, your body may be awake before your spirit has found its center. You can begin reacting before you have chosen how you want to live the day. Scripture repeatedly points us toward watchfulness over the inner life. Proverbs 4:23 teaches us to guard the heart carefully because the direction of life flows from it. That principle is deeply practical. Guarding your heart does not mean hiding from reality. It means deciding that reality will not enter your mind without first passing through faith, wisdom, and discernment. This is why the 3 words are so simple. God, lead me. The first word is God, not my fear, not my notifications, not the loudest person in the room, not the newest crisis, not the memory of what went wrong yesterday. God. When you begin with God, you are not denying your responsibilities. You are putting them in the right order. You are remembering that your life is more than the stream of information arriving on a screen. You are a person with a soul, a calling, relationships, responsibilities, and choices. Your mind deserves a moment of sacred attention before it becomes available to everyone else. The second word is lead. To ask God to lead you is to admit that you do not have to control every detail before breakfast. You do not have to predict every conversation. You do not have to solve every family problem while you are still lying in bed. You do not have to rehearse every possible difficulty before your feet touch the floor. Lead me means, show me the next faithful step. It means, help me respond instead of react. It means, give me wisdom before I speak. It means, correct me when I am rushing. It means, close the door to impulses that will steal my peace. It means, help me notice what matters and release what does not belong to me. And the third word is me. This part is personal. You are not beginning the morning by asking God to fix everyone around you. You are not saying, lead my spouse so I can be comfortable. Lead my children so I do not have to worry. Lead my coworkers so they stop annoying me. You are saying, lead me, change my attention, steady my emotions, direct my choices. Teach me what I can do faithfully today. This is one of the most mature forms of prayer because it starts with responsibility. You cannot control every message that arrives, but you can choose how you receive it. You cannot control the news, but you can decide whether fear will become the voice that interprets your day. You cannot control another person's mood, but you can ask God to guide your response. So again, before the phone, say it slowly. God, lead me. Father, lead me before I scroll. Lead me before I compare my life with someone else's life. Lead me before I read a message that might disappoint me. Lead me before I see a number in my bank account that makes me afraid. Lead me before I remember everything that still needs to be done. Lead me before I carry someone else's urgency as if it were my assignment. Lead me into this day with a clear mind and a guarded heart. Many people wake up and immediately borrow anxiety from the future. The phone can make that easier because it compresses the whole world into a few inches of glass. In seconds, you can see family problems, work requests, tragedies, advertisements, arguments, comparisons, unfinished tasks, and reminders of what you do not yet have. None of those things make the phone evil. The issue is order. A useful tool becomes harmful when it receives the first and strongest claim on your attention. A message that could have waited 10 minutes can shape the next 10 hours if you receive it in an unguarded state. A headline can become the emotional background of your morning. A social media post can quietly turn gratitude into comparison. Protecting your morning, therefore, does not mean becoming afraid of technology. It means using technology intentionally. Through the lens of Christian metaphysics, attention is not a small thing. What you repeatedly hold before the mind influences the direction of your words, choices, expectations, and actions. That does not mean every thought instantly creates an event. It means the inner life matters. The mind needs discipline. Faith needs practice. And what we repeatedly rehearse can become the atmosphere in which we live. That is why this reflection, inspired by spiritual principles shared through the teachings of Conny Méndez, begins with something so ordinary: the moment before you touch your phone. You do not need an hour. You do not need a complicated ritual. You need one intentional pause. God, lead me. Now place one hand over your heart if that feels natural, and let us pray. Father, thank you for another morning. Thank you for the breath in my lungs, for the possibility of beginning again, and for the mercy that meets me before I have accomplished anything today. I give you these first moments. I surrender the need to know everything immediately. I surrender the need to answer everyone immediately. I surrender the fear that if I do not check every message now, I will lose control. I surrender the habit of letting other people's urgency become my first thought. Guard my heart today. Guard my mind from unnecessary fear. Guard my attention from endless distraction. Guard my words from impatience. Guard my decisions from confusion. Let your wisdom become louder in me than the noise around me. If there is something I truly need to see today, help me see it clearly. If there is something I do not need to carry, help me release it. If a message requires patience, give me patience before I answer. If a decision requires courage, give me courage before I act. If someone needs compassion, soften my response without removing healthy boundaries. If I need to say no, help me say no without guilt. If I need to apologize, make me humble. If I need to wait, make me steady. God, lead me. Lead me in my home. Before I speak to my family, help me remember that tone matters. Let the first words I give the people I love not be irritation, criticism, or hurry. Help me create a little more peace in the room I am in. Lead me with my children and grandchildren. Where I am tempted to worry about everything I cannot control, show me what love, prayer, wisdom, and healthy support look like today. Keep me from turning concern into constant fear. Lead me in my work. When the emails arrive, when the requests begin, when I see the list of responsibilities, keep me from confusing busyness with purpose. Help me identify what is truly important. Give me focus for one task at a time. Give me integrity when no one is watching. Give me calm when pressure rises. Lead me in my finances. If money is tight, do not let fear make every decision for me. Help me look honestly at what I have, what I owe, what I can change, what I need to learn, and what action I can take. Give me wisdom to plan, discipline to avoid impulsive choices, humility to ask for appropriate help, and courage to pursue honest opportunities. I trust your provision, and I also accept my responsibility to steward what is in my hands. Lead me in my body. Help me notice when I am tense, exhausted, or overloaded. Remind me that I do not need to carry the whole day in this first hour. Teach me to move with a little more patience. Lead me in my thoughts. If an old memory returns, do not let it become today's identity. If fear says something terrible will happen, remind me that fear is not prophecy. If shame says I always fail, remind me that growth is still possible. If comparison says everyone is ahead of me, bring me back to the path you have given me. If discouragement says nothing is changing, help me recognize small, faithful progress. God, lead me. There is a beautiful simplicity in asking for guidance before information. Information tells you what is happening. Guidance helps you know what to do with what is happening. You may still open your phone and find a difficult message. You may still see a bill that needs attention. You may still discover a change of plans. You may still read something that concerns you. Protecting your morning does not mean creating a morning in which nothing uncomfortable happens. It means creating an inner order that helps you meet what happens without immediately surrendering your peace. That distinction matters. Faith is not pretending that every message will be good. Faith is choosing the source from which you will respond. This is why Jesus' teaching about seeking God's kingdom first remains so relevant to an ordinary morning. The principle of first things is powerful. What receives first place begins to shape everything that comes after it. So make this practical. Tomorrow morning, do not begin by trying to remember a long prayer. Just notice the moment your hand reaches toward the phone. Stop. Let the screen stay dark for a few seconds. Take one slow breath. Say, God, lead me. Then say it again with meaning. God, lead me. And on the third time, make it specific. God, lead me in what I am about to receive. That is the practice. 3 words, 1 pause, 1 reordered morning. You can even place the phone a little farther from the bed tonight if that helps you create a conscious choice in the morning. Not as punishment, not because technology is the enemy, simply because your attention is valuable. You might decide that before checking messages, you will sit up, place your feet on the floor, drink a little water, open the curtains, or look toward the morning light. Give your mind a visible signal that the day belongs to more than the screen. Then pray the 3 words, God, lead me. This is where faith declarations can help reinforce the posture of the prayer. Repeat these with me, not as guarantees that nothing difficult will happen, but as choices about how you will meet the day. God is with me as I begin this morning. I do not have to respond to everything immediately. I can pause before I react. I can choose wisdom over impulse. I can choose peace over unnecessary panic. I can receive information without letting information rule my spirit. I can face responsibilities one step at a time. I can protect my attention without hiding from reality. I can ask for guidance before making decisions. I can be present with the people in front of me. I can use my phone as a tool instead of letting it become the director of my morning. My worth is not measured by notifications, likes, replies, productivity, or comparison. My first identity today is not employee, parent, problem solver, caregiver, debtor, manager, or messenger. I belong to God, and I can begin from that place. If this prayer speaks to what you are facing, leave a like as a quiet sign that today you are choosing guidance over distraction. And now I want you to imagine one very ordinary morning. You wake up. Before you are fully alert, your hand reaches toward the phone because that is what it has learned to do. There is a message waiting. Maybe it is from work. Maybe it is from a family member. Maybe it is just a notification. Usually you would open it immediately, but this time you stop. The message is still there. Nothing has disappeared. You simply choose not to let it be first. You breathe. God, lead me. Then you open the message. The difference is not in the message. The difference is in the person receiving it. Now there is a small space between what happened and how you respond. In that small space, wisdom can enter, patience can enter, discernment can enter. You can ask, does this need an answer now? Is my first reaction accurate? Do I need more information? Should I wait before I speak? What is the most loving and responsible next step? That is how a 3-word prayer becomes practical. It protects the morning by creating space for choice. This is especially important if you wake up carrying family concerns. Perhaps you are waiting for news from someone you love. Perhaps you are worried about an adult child. Perhaps there is tension in a relationship. The temptation is to check the phone before your eyes are even fully open because you want relief. But sometimes the phone does not give relief. Sometimes it gives more uncertainty. So before you look for reassurance from the screen, receive your center from God. God, lead me. Father, I place the people I love in your care. Keep me from monitoring them out of fear. Show me when to reach out and when to give space. Show me how to support without controlling. Show me how to pray without turning prayer into anxiety with religious words. Teach me to trust you with the parts of their lives I cannot manage. God, lead me. And if the first thing you usually check is money, let this prayer reach that habit too. Perhaps you wake up thinking about what is due, what is missing, what did not arrive, or what you still need to solve. You are not wrong for taking finances seriously, but panic is not planning. Before you check the account, before you open the banking app, before you review what has to be paid, say, God, lead me. Then look with honesty. What needs attention first? What can wait? What can be reduced? What conversation needs to happen? What expense can be avoided? What work needs to be pursued? What skill can be strengthened? What help or advice would be wise to seek? Prayer does not remove responsibility. Prayer can prepare you to carry responsibility without surrendering to fear. The same is true for work. Before you check the overnight messages, say, God, lead me. Maybe the first email will be frustrating. Maybe a plan changed. Maybe someone wants an answer you do not yet have. Do not let the first email decide who you will be today. You can be thoughtful. You can be firm. You can ask questions. You can correct a mistake. You can say, I need time to review this. You can act with integrity even under pressure. God, lead me. One of the great dangers of a distracted morning is that it can make you feel as though you have already failed before the day begins. You see 10 things you have not done, 20 things other people are doing, 5 problems you cannot solve, and suddenly, before breakfast, your mind is living in deficiency. But the morning is not a courtroom where you must prove your worth before 9 o'clock. It is a beginning. Receive it as a beginning. The mercy of God is not waiting for your productivity report. You are allowed to start quietly. You are allowed to become present before becoming available. You are allowed to pray before replying. You are allowed to think before reacting. You are allowed to protect your mind from unnecessary noise. God, lead me. Now let us make these words part of a short morning covenant. Before my phone, I will remember God. Before my reaction, I will ask for guidance. Before comparison, I will return to gratitude. Before fear writes the story, I will look for truth. Before I answer in anger, I will pause. Before I carry everyone's problems, I will ask what is actually mine to do. Before I rush into the day, I will let my heart catch up with my body. God, lead me. Father, let these words become more than something I say. Let them become a posture. When I forget, remind me without condemnation. When I rush, call me back. When I become distracted, help me return. When I feel overwhelmed, help me reduce the day to the next faithful step. When I am tempted to compare, help me bless others without diminishing myself. When I am afraid, help me seek truth. When I need wisdom, help me slow down enough to receive it. When I need courage, help me act. When I need rest, help me recognize my limits. When I need help, make me humble enough to ask. Protect this morning, Lord, not by removing every challenge, but by shaping the person who will meet those challenges. Give me a guarded heart, a clear mind, and a responsive spirit. Let the phone serve my responsibilities without owning my attention. Let information inform me without defining me. Let messages reach me without controlling me. Let the needs of others matter without erasing the needs you have given me to steward. Let my first allegiance be to truth, love, wisdom, and faithfulness. God, lead me. If you want to make this practice stronger, Choose one small boundary for the next 7 mornings. It might be no phone for the first 5 minutes after waking. It might be saying the 3 words before unlocking the screen. It might be reading a single verse before opening social media. It might be writing 1 sentence in a notebook. What is the most faithful thing I can do today? Keep the boundary simple enough to repeat. This is not about perfection. If you forget tomorrow and check your phone first, do not turn one habit into a reason for shame. Put the phone down for a moment and begin again. God, lead me. The power is not in an unbroken streak. The value is in repeatedly returning your attention to what matters. And if you are beginning this practice today, write these 3 words in the comments. God, lead me. Let that be your simple declaration of intention. Before we finish, remember what these 3 words are doing. God reminds you who comes first. Lead reminds you that you are allowed to receive direction instead of trying to control everything. Me reminds you to begin with your own heart, your own choices, your own response. God, lead me. 3 words that turn interruption into intention. 3 words that create space between a notification and a reaction. 3 words that help you protect the most vulnerable part of the morning, your attention. Father, I bless the person praying with me now. May there be peace in the first moments of this day. May wisdom meet every decision. May unnecessary fear lose its authority over the imagination. May patience be present in conversations. May courage appear where action is needed. May restraint appear where silence is wiser. May the home be touched by gentleness. May work be approached with clarity. May financial decisions be guided by honesty, responsibility, and hope. May family concerns be held with love rather than panic. May this person remember again and again that they do not have to receive the whole world at once. One message at a time, one choice at a time, one prayer at a time. God, lead me. And when you are ready to continue, go to the prayer on your screen about asking God for protection before you leave home. Let this quiet beginning become the first step into a morning guided by faith, wisdom, and peace. God, lead me. Amen.